So the Triumph Scrambler 1200 is one of our best of 2019. Mr. Shoeb Farooq is the GM of Triumph India, and he's here today. Thank you, Shoeb, for joining us.
Thank you so much, Dhruv.
So my team absolutely loved the Scrambler 1200 and the versatility that it brings, both on the dirt as well as on the tarmac. What kind of response has it got in the market?
I think Dhruv rightly said, it is for us also it's more of a crossover.
Yeah.
It's a classic with adventure capability. So it is a flagship product within the Scrambler range that we have. And it's a niche segment, to be fair. It's not a huge segment that we are looking at, but as you must have tracked our growth in India, we have been working very closely with the whole adventure segment and developing this segment in India. So this is another addition, another way of pulling customers into this genre of biking. And the Scrambler 900 and with this addition of Scrambler 1200, I think we have been able to give the right options to our customers to upgrade. So it has done fairly well in terms of our expectations, but as we expected, the volumes are not really large. But within the segment, I think we have made very positive inroads with this motorcycle.
Because you've got the classics on one side where you're very strong, and then you've got the adventure motorcycles on the other side. But this is a sort of cross between the two. So who does it cater to?
So adventure, for somebody who's getting into motorcycling, you would understand that it's a little intimidating. The form and the whole presence of an adventure, big adventure motorcycle is a little, for a first timer is a little intimidating. So I think people who are upgrading from a lot of smaller motorcycles but have a bent towards really exploring difficult places, I think that is where this kind of motorcycle really makes a lot of sense. And the capability of this motorcycle, when you really put this motorcycle to test, is amazing. You can really go places with this motorcycle. So that is where it really falls in place. And of course, the charm of a classic-looking motorcycle, and then the whole, the heart and attitude of an adventure motorcycle. I think this is where a lot of people have really fallen for the motorcycle.
So at EICMA recently, there were a lot of models that were showcased, special edition Bonnevilles, custom bobber, lightweight Thruxton RS. So when can we start seeing some of those bikes in India?
I think this time on EICMA, most were limited editions and small upgrades. Luckily or unluckily, we are on the wrong side of the emission norm cycle in India. And we have got a hard stop on 31st of March 2020. And so, given the timelines that we have and when the availability is best case possible in India, these models won't be making it to India, to be fair.
And talking about that BS6 transition, how easy or difficult is it?
As a company, we are well prepared. In fact, we are not going to wait till March for this transition. I'm looking at as early as January to start supplies or start the supplies of BS6 models in India. And we are back-end, we are kind of equipped with that kind of a transition. Of course, I'm looking at liquidation of all BS4 stock also around that time. Jan to Feb is where I think would be the latest we'll be able to take care of all the stocks in the country. We are in a very comfortable situation, I would say.
Okay, great. The last couple of weeks or months have been good, better from a sales standpoint because of the festive season. Going forward, you'll be looking to liquidate BS4 stock. As you said, you have new bikes coming in. What does it look like, the market scenario as a whole?
I would say we have done pretty well given the market situation. Last 12 months have been difficult for the industry. Last 2 months, because of festivities, I think there's a positive movement. As a brand, we have grown by 10-12% on our retail side in the last 2 months, so which is a very positive sign. That is against an industry which is still degrowing, the super premium bike industry. If I say, it still continues to degrow by good 15 to 20% still. But against that, a good 10-12% growth for our brand is a very positive sign. The only thing which, as a business head, keep on pondering over is that, how to keep this momentum going. How to ensure that, the Novembers and the Decembers also go positive for us. I'm very positive about the whole plans that we have in place for the next few months. And we should be able to do much better than the industry in the coming months.
And you've got the Street Triple RS and the new Rocket also coming in. So is that key to retaining that momentum, new model launches?
I think a lot is there. I mean, all of us know December kind of grows on all of us because of an year end, and that gives a lot of opportunity to brands. So December is there. Then around the same time, we have these new products coming in the next quarter. And then March, all said and done, because of the BS4 flush out, a lot of opportunity would be there with the brands to pull in customers. So I think all this put together and this slight improvement in the sentiment of the customer buying into these festivities. I'm seeing all these things coming together in the next 6 to 8 months and giving us a good positive push.
And from a price differential standpoint, in the transition to BS6, will the customer feel a little bit of heat?
Of course, there is an additional cost to BS6. We are trying to find ways of mitigating the impact as much as possible. We are working at the back end really closely with our parents to see how less the impact could be on the customers, because the impact would be pretty large on customers. We are looking at all these discounts vanishing suddenly in April, which are there on the BS4 motorcycles, and practically speaking, the BS6, when somebody as a layman looks at the motorcycle, for him it doesn't really make a difference. So I mean, one side the discounts going down and the price going up, I mean that differential is pretty large. So I'm mindful of that, and I'm looking at some solutions so that the customers don't really feel the pain too much. But of course, I mean, from where we are today, if we compare, I think the prices would go up.
There's a lot of talk even now in the two-wheel space about electrification. As a company, is Triumph looking at that? Is there any developments on that front?
I think we gave a press release recently, global, where we have tied up with academia and the best in the industry to develop this whole technology on motorcycles, and that's a pretty large project which has got a 2-year kind of time frame. But as a company, there's a huge amount of intent to be ready with this kind of motorcycles, because sooner than later, I think that directionally we are moving into that direction. So as a brand, we are conscious of it. We are preparing ourselves at the back end. Yes.
The challenge, I assume, would be retaining that essence of a classic with moving to a new sort of propulsion system.
Yeah, I mean, these are a different category of motorcycles. You know, I mean, these are passion purchases, and people buy these motorcycles for different reasons. How to give all that to a customer where it's an electric motor, and still make the thrill and all that to be a part of the package. I think that is what is going to be crucial, which I think as a brand, because we know our customer, we know what drives people towards our brand. I think if we are able to pull those values into the electric proposition, we should have a winner with us.
And looking forward into 2020, I mean, BS6 notwithstanding, do you see market sentiment improving as we go into maybe mid or even late of next year?
To my mind, I think we will have small wins like these festivals and the BS4, and so there will be spikes for reasons. But on a very generic level, I still see that there is a little sluggishness in the market, which is not going to go away pretty soon. It is going to be there for a longer frame of mind, and it will only gradually build from here, because right now I think a lot of things have come together to pull the whole demand side of the story down. And for this to go back up, it will take time. But of course, as I said, the new products, all these small spots would keep helping brands to kind of steer through this whole phase.
Well, sure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations again on the
Thanks a lot. Thank
Scrambler
you so much.
Cup.
I mean, I accept it on behalf of Triumph, and thank you so much for that.
Not at all. And you heard it here first, folks. Go out and buy that Triumph motorcycle right now. This is the right time.